Hey everyone, What If Fan here, bringing you another exciting part of What If becoming a mangaka in One Piece world. You can find the fanfic title and the original author's name on my Patreon page. Make sure to check it out and show them some love. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. Alright, let's jump into it. Chapter 301, Ohara Backstory, Part 1. Buster Call. Ha! Rob's eyes looked dark at this moment as he reread Robin's backstory for the 1000th time. Around him an invisible spiritual pressure spread, and a spiritual ripple around his body raised by a few meters. If someone was standing before him, he would not be able to breathe and would die of fear before dying from lack of oxygen. He always asked himself the same question after he finished reading this sad backstory. What if he dies after Robin's birth as it is supposed to be? Will the same fate happen again? Will little Robin go through all this suffering again? So what if little Robin had to taste this suffering in all the other parallel universes? Rob tried not to penetrate his common sense with his thinking, because there was no point in thinking about other parallel universes that he could not access or change anything. But his guilt did not decrease but continued to rise. At this point, Rob completely forgot his true identity and accepted his new identity as Rudius D. Rob, Nico Robin's dad. Rob lit another cigarette and started smoking. Now, I think most One Piece readers have known about Robin and Ohara's backstory. Right? Then let's get the party started. Come, let's dance, government. West Blue, Ohara. At this moment an unexpected silence fell on this beautiful spring island. The silence lasted for a whole hour, as if this island had turned into a desolate area even though many people were already living there. 1 hour. This is how long it took the Ohara people to restore their brain function and vocal cords after seeing Nico Robin's backstory. Inside the art store Ohara, Sara stood in shock. She was putting a hand over her mouth while trying to suppress her tears from flowing, but unfortunately, she couldn't. The same goes for Belmir, Toki, and Odoheim. The four of them were shocked so much when they read Robin's backstory. The tears in their eyes were like a river that did not dry up. They could not find suitable words to describe their current feelings. Troubled. Perhaps this is the only description that can explain their state of mind. These were the store goddesses and the owner's wives, great female figures. What about the ordinary people in and out of the art store? Arguably, the people of Ohara did not expect their island to appear in the story in this way. Since the story was set in the Grand Line, no one expected that the story would return to the Four Seas anytime soon. But Rob catches them unprepared and gives them a very shocking surprise. So much so that the people of Ohara couldn't get over it yet. Especially the group of archaeologists who ran to the art store to buy the volumes and forgot themselves here. The feelings of this group were indescribably complex. Only now did they know why they were called demons. Village of Omniscience, Tree of Omniscience. Since she came here, Alvia's tears have not stopped dripping. As the mother of Nico Robin in the manga, her feelings were the most turbulent. Although she had already read the manga since yesterday, those tragic events still lingered in her mind. How could she forget that? Before her, Professor Clover was reading the manga with facial expressions that varied from one scene to another. He was so shocked. It was only when he reached the beginning of the flashback that his face began to turn pale. This is unbelievable, Dr. Clover said with shock in his tone. Equals 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 equals. Robin, the Buster Call is a merciless power that makes you lose sight of your purpose. You can't use that, not that. 20 years ago. West Blue. Ohara. Hey, this way. Eh hee hee. There she is. Look, over there. We found a monster. Start attacking. Let's do it. Ooh, a monster. Robin, oh. WAAAH, the monster attacked us. EEN, she's creepy. Robin. Nico Robin, age 8. Hey, you. My kids told me they were beaten up for no reason. Don't go anywhere near my kids. You're such a creepy girl. Robin. Well, say something. Equals 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 equals. Alvia's heart pounded and nearly ruptured when she saw little Robin's tears as she wiped the floor when she remembered that happy family. What she didn't know was that when Rob was drawing this exact scene, the pen in his hand broke dozens of times. Sigh. Professor Clover sighed as he looked at Alvia. He could certainly understand how she was feeling. He knew how much Alvia loves her daughter, everyone knows that. Nothing could break her heart more than this scene. Just how hard was the heart of the father who drew this scene? This has puzzled Professor Clover. Oh. This is the tree of omniscience. Oh. This is me. This is Zadie. Roche. Boucherie. And this is Rint. Ha 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 ha. This is a graduation party. Unbelievable. Little Robin turns out to be as genius as her mom. Clover tried to use his first appearances scene to change the mood for Alvia, who was still crying. He partially succeeded, as a small smile appeared on her face when she heard this. I don't understand why everyone calls my daughter a monster. Maybe it's because of the devil fruit, but my daughter who appeared in the manga is the cutest creature in the world without a rival. Alvia wiped her tears and gently looked at the picture in which little Robin first appeared smiling in the manga. At this point, she was very grateful to her teacher and fellow archaeologists. Now, she could distinguish between friends and non-friend and know the true core of each person on this island. She can blindly trust the One Piece manga. After all, the person who drew this manga is her husband and her second half. Outside the Tree of Omniscience, the previous calmness caused by the shock had disappeared and was replaced by a much greater commotion. An unparalleled fear rose in the hearts of the citizens. Seeing what had happened to them in the manga made their fear overcome their hatred. Fear that the same thing will happen to them in the coming years. After all, the world government was a giant that ruled 170 countries. In fact, now it only governs 168 countries. On a lively street within the city of Ohara, a group of people was looking at the terrified crowd from the attic of a building with looks of pity. They have the strongest man in the world here, and they still act like cowards. Weird. The man who spoke was wearing a green robe that concealed his entire body, even his tattooed face was almost hidden inside the cloak. When one is afraid, one hardly uses its mind. The person speaking this time is a blind man. What do you think? How will the world government defend itself after this volume? A young man wearing a cross-like sword behind his back asked in a tone filled with mockery. Of course, they'll answer by the same line again. We didn't do anything. And it's true. They haven't done anything yet. Everyone looked at the young man with crocodile eyes with curious looks. This is because he was right in what he said. Chapter 302, Ohara Backstory, Part 2. Robin, Doctor. I want to solve the mystery of void history. Clover, WHA. NNO. That's prohibited. Absolutely prohibited. Robin, eh? Why? We'll know what happened to the void century if we study the poneglyph, right? Clover, NO. You. How do you know that? I know. You used your ability in the basement. You should know by now that deciphering the poneglyph is a crime. Robin, but, all of you. You're studying the poneglyph late at night in the basement. Graham, she's totally following her mother's path. Clover, she still doesn't know. The incident from the other day. Robin's mother, Alvia, has been captured. Her fate is obvious. Equals 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 equals. Clover's face turned red when he read this scene. This. Ah. Rob revealed everything just like that. Now. The world government will. Clover's body shivered so hard. His mind couldn't comprehend what he had just seen. Ah, little Robin, what have you done? Olvia let out a chuckle as she saw her teacher's terrified reaction. No need to worry, Professor, even if the world government finds out about our Void Histories search, they can't do anything to threaten us. What happened in the manga won't happen again this time around, so you don't have to worry. Clover looked directly into Olvia's eyes and asked. What happened in the manga? You'll find out soon, teacher. Wait. You also have a wanted poster in the manga. Huh? They captured you already? This doesn't bode well. Clover seemed worried about the course of events after this. But something unusual caught his attention, the appearance of a certain giant on Ohara Beach. Equals 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 equals. Robin, WHI. Sol, KAFF. Gabobo. Ha. Ha. Robin. Sol, Goga. Robin. Sol. Ha. Ha. Water. Robin, water? Sol, ha. Ha. You spared my life. Wonder if that person's alright, too. Drifter, giant, Sol. Sol. This land. Got a town, no? Robin, yep. Sol, I see. I don't care where this is, but I wish I drifted to someplace uninhabited. Equals 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 equals. In Marineford, everyone who had read the current volume subconsciously looked in the direction of Sol's residence at this moment. Hoi! Hoi! This is getting interesting. Borsellino commented. After all, it's not every day that a vice admiral appears in the manga. This is getting annoying. On the other hand, Sakazuki was very upset out by Sol's miserable appearance on his first appearance. He could expect many disgraceful scenes of the Navy already coming. Sol. Just who's the one who hurt you that much in the manga? Kuzan, who was Sol's best friend, was angry to see his friend in this state. Suru. Give me more headache medicine. I need it now. Ha! Ha! When Sengoku wanted to leave the manga book away and get some rest, a vice admiral appeared in poor condition in the manga. Sengoku. Go to sleep. Suru felt helpless in this situation. She had never seen Sengoku in such a tragic situation, even when he was fighting the Pirate King, Whitebeard, the Golden Lion, and the brutal pirates. On the other side of Marineford, Garp looked toward Sol's house. This weird giant was a member of the Jaguar D family after all. So then, this is your role, Sol. A big smile appeared on Garp's face and he went back to reading the events with an expectant look on his face. All this happened and the person who appeared in the manga is still trying to comprehend the fact that he appeared in the manga until now. Ha! Is that me? Darishishishi. So the person little Robin called Sol was really me. When the CP-9 ship commanded by Spandine appears on its way to Ohara, Sol instinctively felt anxious because of that. He wasn't worried about what would appear in the manga about him. He didn't really care about his public picture, but he was worried that it might be the cause of little Robin's tragic fate. This cute girl was the first person who didn't make fun of his weird way of laughing, but she loved it and even laughed in the same way. This scene made him cry tears of happiness. The picture of him and little Robin laughing like friends was reflected in his eyes, causing him to laugh so hard. The sound of his weird laughter spread throughout Marineford. Darishishishi. Normally, hearing this laugh was disturbing to everyone who heard it. But today, people who read the volume feel that the events of this chapter are vividly and visually vivid in their minds. Little Garden. The image of the island, which resembles open scissors, was reflected in the eyes of a pteranodon soaring in the sky. But suddenly, the pteranodon felt his life was in danger. The flying dinosaur wanted to dodge, but Broggysax had already split it in half. Gabba-babba-ba. I have hunted the today dinner, Dory. Oh. Broggy. Comes here. You'll see something interesting. Another giant has appeared in this arc. Huh? Really? Yes. But he says he's different from the Elbaf barbarians. Huh? Is he from that clan? Chapter 303, Ohara Backstory, Part 3. Ohara's Streets. What the hell? This. Isn't that uncle of little Robin and his wife? Why do they treat her like a slave? Suddenly, I have a desire to demolish their house on their heads. If these are their true selves, it's better to kick them out from Ohara. Poor Robin. She hasn't seen her mother's face since she was 2 years old. That's sad. It is not surprising that she forget her face. But why can't I see Rob-sama anywhere in this flashback? Look. Alvia-sama's husband has been mentioned by a certain scholar. On his tongue, it seems Rob-sama is no longer around. What do you mean? It's not possible. What the hell is going on here? Why can't I understand anything? Ah. Even the chat rooms are closed. If they were open, we would have had thousands of theories and ideas that could clear up even a little bit of this confusion. This isn't Robin's past. It's what was supposed to happen. But it all didn't happen because Rob-san is there. Alvia-san also didn't go to sea on little Robin's second birthday. That's different from what happened in the manga. This giant with a weird tone, Jaguar D. Sol. I searched about them and found out that he's a vice admiral in the Navy. He's another real character that appears in the manga. This giant is very gentle. If he also has the will of D, then no wonder. If there weren't such intense discussions among manga readers, everyone would have finished reading it a long time ago, but that's what everyone is already used to. Everyone in Ohara discussed the flashbacks with enthusiasm. After all, their island was featured in the manga. How can they not get excited? But this enthusiasm soon turned to tremble and fear. A sudden silence descended upon the people of Ohara. Even those who don't read the manga felt an extraordinary atmosphere enveloped all of Ohara. In an Ohara hotel. The Void Century, huh? Anything about this hidden history scares the shit out of the world government, hee hee hee. When he remembered the world government, Crocodile got very angry. Yes, it was Rob who was responsible for his previous ordeal, but the people who chased after him and tried to kill him were from the world government and the Navy. That's why he hated them so much. It has begun. A massacre. That's to be expected from Sakazuki. But I never expected this from Kuzan. Dragon's expression froze as he saw the dark scenes in the manga. No, that is expected from the government. He added. So that would have happened had it not been for that man's intervention? I'm a blind man, can you describe what's going on? Or just let's go to the art store. Equals 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 equals. Sol, you don't even remember your mom's face, right? Robin, yup, but she's my mom after all. So I want to see her. Sol, yeah. I see. Robin, Sol, did you know that we have a whole century that was voided in this world? A history that nobody knows about. Sol. Ah. The so-called void century? I'm interested in it, but the government forbids people from researching it. Robin, yep. I heard my mom's traveling around the world, studying it. But please, don't tell anybody about this. It really is a crime. Sol, that dash. That means she's looking for stones called poneglyphs, ain't she? Sol, Robin, do you know your mom's name? Robin, Alvia. Sol. Then, you mean this island is called Ohara? Robin, yep. Saul, wah. No good. Holy crap. Holy freaking crap. I drifted all the way to O'Hara. Saul, Robin. You'd be surprised, but listen to me carefully. Marine warships are heading toward this land, O'Hara, like right now. Robin, Marines? Why? Saul, to wipe out the scholars on this island. Equals 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 equals. Marigoa, domain of the gods. Inside the art store Marigoa. The uproar inside was a little bigger than usual. The hell? Why the Navy would wipe out Little Robin's land? Don't tell me they destroyed O'Hara in this flashback? No wonder, after all, they study history. They admitted it with their tongue in the manga. Studying the void history is a terrible crime. I think the Gorosei will take urgent action against O'Hara. But that's bad. The celestial dragons fell into the pit of confusion, not knowing which side to support anymore. The world government is the basis of its power and its existence. Or, O'Hara's side who gives them the best entertainment all the time. This was really the worst situation they could imagine. No matter how stupid the celestial dragons were, at this point, they could see upcoming bad events caused by this arc. Pangea Castle. Inside the government hall. Clover, oh, Clover. You confessed the crime with your mouth. The manga revealed that, so don't blame us for relentlessly taking comprehensive measures. One of the Gorosei broke the armrest support on the chair without realizing it. After all, he's been so angry since this flashback started. First, Spandam. And now his father, Spandine. Those scum is going to give me a stroke. This giant is a vice admiral in the Navy, right? So what brings him to O'Hara? And why isn't he wearing his Navy uniform? Weird. Looks like he's befriended Nico Robin. Ha! Why is she talking about the void history and the poneglyphs again? The Navy is on its way to O'Hara for what? Look. Getting his daughter into this wasn't enough for him. He got his wife into this, too. This bastard, Sky Sword, just what is he planning to do? Equals 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 equals. O'Hara scholar, if you need to take care of your child, don't come. We'll take care of your husband's unfulfilled wish. Alvia, no, I'm coming. I'm a scholar of O'Hara. I cannot forfeit my predecessor's will. I'm sorry, Robin. Once we solve every mystery, I'll come back to you, I promise. Robin, 2 years old, where is mommy? Nico Oren, your mommy went to the sea for her work. You'll stay with us for a while. Roji, I said shut her up. Or I'll smack her. Equals 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 equals. So this is your wife, Robchan. Foo foo foo. In a world where you don't exist, she left your child behind to a family that didn't take care of her in the first place, all that for her research about worthless history. What a great wife. When she read up to this point, I found this scene very interesting. Like most readers, she thought Rob was Alvia's husband who was mentioned in the manga as having an unfulfilled wish. This means that Rob is dead in the manga. And this, of course, is true. But they are wrong about the identity of Rob who died in the manga. That person died of his illness. But at this time he died because Rob swallowed his soul. Chapter 304, Unexpected Move. Inside his room in Marineford, the expression on Kuzan's face looked very tense as he read the manga. He appeared again in such a sensitive flashback. And that's what he'd already expected since the Long Ring Longland arc. But when the expected arc arrived, Kuzan was very confused. After all, he had never expected that his only friend, Saul, would be a major participant in such sensitive events. This gave him a bad omen. Equals 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 equals. Somewhere in West Blue. Vice Admiral Kuzan, sir. Kuzan. What is it? Chief Spandine of CP9 has arrived at O'Hara. Kuzan, what's that? Did you have to wake me up just to tell me that, assholes? Marine Headquarters Vice Admiral Kuzan, later known as Admiral Akiji. I'm sorry, sir. O'Hara's northwestern beach. Saul, this is bad. I can see them coming already. The warships are coming this way. Equals 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 equals. The joy on Saul's face disappeared at this moment, because of course, he couldn't laugh while watching all these sad scenes. He never expected that such events would come. And he would be a part of it. Until now. He was sure that Robin's past was going to make everyone who read these chapters weep. And Saul wasn't wrong. Because right now a lot of people who have finished reading Robin's flashback are starting to cry. Robin's backstory affected them deeply. Boom! Vice Admiral Saul. You are under arrest. Please come with us without resistance. Suddenly, the door of the house flew and crashed into the wall, a lot of government agents, pointing their guns at the giant on the bed. In the forefront of them are three masked short-stature men. They are from the CP0. Saul looked at this in shock as his mind had yet to react to what the hell was going on here. We have an arrest warrant for you from the Five Elders. We don't want to use violence at Marineford. Please follow us calmly. The voice of a man from CP0 who was holding an arrest warrant came to show it to Saul. When he saw the arrest warrant bearing the signature of the Gorosei, Saul stopped his guesses as to why he had been arrested and got out of bed, putting on his Navy uniform and his Navy hat. I'm ready, I'll go with you. Good. Where do you think you are going with an estimable Vice Admiral from our headquarters? Many high-ranking Navy officers stopped the way of government agents, headed by the Fleet Admiral himself. The expression on Sengoku's face seemed especially annoyed at the government agents who had done something that had never happened before. Arrest an innocent vice admiral from the headquarters. Next to Sengoku stood the famous three vice admirals, Borsellino, Sakazuki, and Kuzan. Only Kuzan showed a worried expression on his face. These are the orders of the Five Elders, do you want to oppose it, Fleet Admiral? CP0 wasn't afraid of the Fleet Admiral and those with him, of course, because he was here by the orders of the Five Elders. But Gorosei-sama didn't call me, and they didn't tell me any of this. Sengoku was confused. He thought, as a Fleet Admiral, the Five Elders could not fail to tell him about the arrest of one of his direct subordinates. But when he saw the order of the stigmatized arrest by the Gorosei, Sengoku was sure of the truth of the matter. Can you tell me the reason? Does it have anything to do with the new manga volume? We have nothing to tell you. The Vice Admiral will be taken to the military court at Marigoa. There our judges will judge his work ethics. Can I come with you? No, I'm sorry. The sad-faced giant Saul boarded the government ship calmly, unable to comprehend what had happened to him until now. Looks like he's going to be punished for the manga events that haven't happened yet. The Marines squeezed their hands while Sengoku's face turned red from excessive anger. When Garp arrives and finds out what happened, he almost chases the government ship using Jeppo, but Sengoku stops him from doing anything crazy. When the government ship left through the huge gate of justice and no one could pursue it anymore, Sengoku urgently called the Five Elders to get an explanation. We haven't given any arrest warrant yet. Sengoku. Ha? Sengoku froze in shock. Did the Five Elders say that they were not given any arrest warrant? So aren't those men who arrested Vice Admiral Saul men of the government? Sengoku almost fainted from the shock. Without a doubt, today's event will become a major disgrace in the history of the Navy. They got so used to reading manga that they became so stupid. Even powerful people like Sengoku can be easily deceived if their emotions are so turbulent. On a government ship. Or what is supposed to be a government ship? Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Mission succeeded. We have recovered the Vice Admiral from the Navy headquarters without any flaws. Foo foo foo. Another successful S-rank mission. Let's celebrate, guys. CP0 removed his mask, revealing the face of the young Doflamingo. Two other people also removed their masks, revealing the faces of Enel and Rosinante. These three plus a handful of B-rank and C-rank hunters today had accomplished Mission Impossible. Saul looked at all of this in confusion. When he made sure that these people were not from the government, he wanted to untie him and resist, but Doflamingo came forward to speak. We have sent from Sky Sword Rob to save you. We have nothing against you. Chapter 305, Professor Clover. At first glance, it might seem that Rob and Alvia are overreacting to Robin's backstory in the manga. But, in fact, a person has to live in such a situation in order to be able to understand what they're really feeling. For two parents who truly love their daughter, seeing Nico Robin, who she was supposed to have the same parents as Rudius D. Robin has a very cruel past that has caused intense emotional pain for the parents. It could be emotional pain, and it could also be frustration. But the sure truth is that Rudius D. Robin would surely have suffered what Nico Robin have experienced if she had lived in similar circumstances. And who was the direct cause of this fate? Perhaps the immaturity of Alvia, who left her 2-year-old daughter behind and boarded the ship of scholars. Or perhaps the deadly illness that would have killed Rob had it not been for the immortality blessing from the Divine Network. These variables, arguably, are what made Nico Robin, who didn't know anything yet, prepare to live a cruel fate since childhood. But what was the main reason for Nico Robin's endless suffering is the world government. Rob always hated the world government when he was just a regular behind-the-screen One Piece fan. Their arrogance wished to deny the world their right to know their lost history. Allowing the celestial insects to do as they please with the inhabitants of the world has crossed all reasonable limits. Destroying everyone who opposes them without giving them any chance to ask for forgiveness. All of these traits do not have to be in a world government that is supposed to be fair. But after coming to this world and getting Rudius D. Rob's identity and his feelings too, Rob's hatred toward the world government is no longer limited to just these things. Or it could be said that his hostility towards them has become purely personal. After Robin is born in his first sense of parenthood experience, Rob's target is no longer just to draw manga. Rather, he has a second target, no less important. Eliminating the world government from history and replacing it. As for Alvia, after learning about Robin's backstory, she felt very guilty, because she knew how attached she was to history at that time. She would surely have made the same mistake and left her daughter behind for 6 years if Rob had died. This guilt and frustration that was felt. Unfortunately, even Rob couldn't handle it. He had no choice. If it were up to him, he wouldn't have drawn this arc and he would have overtaken it. But it's like being sentenced to death. All he could do was drown himself in the flashback when he was mentioned as Alvia's late husband. This addition didn't have a negative effect, he just assured the audience that he's the real father of Nico Robin in the manga, so there's no empty discussion here. He drew himself back in this arc as an addition in a dramatic scene that would shake anyone's feelings. But that will be for later. Back to Rob. At this moment, Rob was preparing to simply declare war. If Sogeking's slap is not enough for them, he will give them a more painful slap and will make the whole world witness it. Sigh. Rob closed the manga book on the scene in which little Robin was sailing on a small boat between the two icy paths. While she was crying, two transparent souls of a man and a woman appeared behind her who gave her a push from behind with a gentle smile on their faces. I wonder if that'd be enough to cheer you up a bit, Alvia. Olive. Activate the video projection feature. Open a live stream and share it with all available art stores. Understood. Live streaming is in progress. On the rooftop of the highest building in Eni's lobby, Rob finally stood up. Suddenly, a green cirro appeared above his finger. Ohara, Tree of Omniscience. Please. Alvia. Stop crying, these things won't happen, you know. It's all just events in a book. Old Man Clover didn't know how to calm his red-eyed disciple at this moment. He stopped panicking about revealing the truth about the existence of the Poneglyph and the Tree of Omniscience already because he trusts Rob so deeply. With Rob here, the world government won't be able to repeat what they did in the manga even if they really wanted to. Even he, as an old man who went through a lot of difficult experiences, felt very sad at this because of the flashback of destroying O'Hara. Little Robin being the only survivor of this massacre made his heart ache, but he felt that was enough. Although she doesn't deserve to go through all the hardships at such a young age, she definitely deserves to live. When Alvia had thought it all ended so badly for her daughter, a scene appears that made her gasp with bitter sadness. She didn't finish the volume yesterday because she fell asleep after all the tears she cried. Only today she was able to start where she left off. So she saw the scene Rob added too late. Equals 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 equals. Spandine, how are you, gentlemen? CP9 agents, we're doing well, Chief. Clover, but that's Spandine, this island's forests have some dreadful beasts within. Roche, archaeologist Alvia. Boucherie, archaeologist Sure. Graham, female archaeologist, Miss Alvia. Spandine, hell, this one almost killed me. Mwahaha. She's an escaped prisoner. Her group was eliminated the other day for deciphering ancient text. It certainly would explain a few things if the lot of you had any connection to her. Clover. Robin, 8 years old, that poor woman. How could they be so cruel? Clover, Robin. Get to the refuse ship right now. Hurry. Alvia, Robin? Robin. You've become so big. Clover, before my death, let me speak with the heads of the world, the Gorosei. For a long time now O'Hara, the holy land of archaeology, has continued its research. The dream is only halfway there, but I have created a hypothesis about the 100 years of blank pages that I wish to report. Equals 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 equals. I can't believe how he dares. This flashback revealed so many characteristics we didn't know about this old man, Professor Clover from O'Hara. Yes, we've always suspected that the O'Hara scholars were studying the void history, but we had no evidence. Because of their contributions to silencing the world's curiosity, we decided to give them a chance again and again. But I didn't expect Rob himself to expose them. Is this overconfidence in him? Or does he think what he's doing now is not a threat to him? Puru puru puru. Suddenly, the den den mushy of Navy's line started ringing. The Gorosei with the hat grabbed it and answered calmly. What is it, Sengoku? Hello, Gorosei-sama. Why didn't you tell me about the arrest warrant of Vice Admiral Jaguar D. Sol? Ha? What arrest warrant are you talking about, Sengoku? We haven't given any arrest warrant yet. The 5 elders looked at each other in confusion. You've been tricked. You idiot. Chapter 306, Touching Scene. Sirens rang out in every corner of Marineford while the Marines ran here and there in a panic. When Sengoku learns that he has been deceived by an unknown entity, he almost goes crazy, but the old admiral's ingenuity prevents him from doing so. This was the case of a vice admiral being kidnapped from the headquarters. Not any vice admiral, but the one who just appeared in the manga as a kind giant. It was no accident. Since everything is connected, then it must be said that the culprit is very clear. He is the only person who has under his hand a formidable organization that can rival the Navy. Rudius D. Rob. The King of Hunters. Or as he is known, the King of Manga. Boom. Damn you, Sky Sword. Not only did you wipe the ground with the reputation of the government and Navy and burn the government flag in the manga, but you also did this despicable act. Sengoku smashed the adjacent wall with a punch in a moment of fury, causing the empty building to be destroyed. The Marines freaked out and moved away from the terrifying fleet admiral. Calm down, Sengoku. It's not like Sol would be in danger if he was in the hands of that guy's men. Don't underestimate the giant either. Even though he was defeated by Kuzan in the manga, that does not mean he's that weak. Kuzan looked down with a low expression on his face when he heard what Garp had to say. Insulting the Navy and kidnapping one of our soldiers from one of the safest places in the world is a disgrace we should not be proud of. Humph. This time the Sky Sword has crossed all limits. We should declare his organization as a criminal organization and go to war with them. Before Sakazuki could finish speaking, a Marine ran into the public square to report breaking news. Sir! We caught their ship. Ha! Really? Sengoku nearly jumped with joy when he heard what the subordinate had said. We've recovered the ship, but it's empty, sir. Nobody's board it. The soldier reporting the news felt his legs soften as the angry gazes of the admirals fell on him. But suddenly, he felt his shoulder becoming heavy. Garp put his hand on the soldier's shoulder and asked faintly, "What do you mean by the ship is empty? Didn't it come out of here full of what supposed government agents? We've got the fake government ship back in the harbor. You can come to see it." In front of Marineford Harbor stood the government ship that Doflamingo and the others had brought here after a successful mission to protect Tom and his disciples in Marigoa. Sengoku, Garp, Zephyr, Tsuru, and the rest climbed onto the deck, but something very shocking soon caught their attention. At the end of the ship, something very familiar appeared in their field of vision. It was a building. And not any ordinary building. As for Zephyr, who had tried to destroy this building before in the Lenil Nation, he could remember it at a glance. "Isn't this an art store?" Zephyr said in a loud voice, showing his surprise. Everyone quickly regained their focus. When they tried to enter the art store, something even more shocking happened. The store screen appeared above the art store and began to expand to the size of an island. This way everyone in Marineford can see and hear everything that will be broadcast. The first thing that appeared on the store screen was of course Rob, who was standing on top of the government's building with a green and spherical Ciro over his finger. The eyes of the high ranks of the Navy almost fell out of their sockets. After Doflamingo briefly explains everything to Sol, he orders all of the ranked hunters except his brother and Enel to return to Hunter's Island Ringhell via teleportation room. After that, Doflamingo, Sol, Rosinante, and Enel were transported to O'Hara. The empty fake government ship was left behind. These were exactly Rob's orders. 15-year-old Doflamingo just carried them out as is it. In the end, as planned, the Marines who chased them through the Gate of Justice found the empty government ship lost at sea and take it back to Marineford. All for this moment. After all, if the Marines don't watch Rob's upcoming show, all of this makes no sense. O'Hara, Tree of Omniscience. A few hours ago. While reading the sequel to the volume, Alvia found herself in a strange state she's never been in before. She seemed to see everything happening to Nico Robin from a third-person perspective. She could even hear 2-year-old Nico Robin crying, 8-year-old Nico Robin laughing, Darashishi, and even the adult Nico Robin when she said she wanted to die. Alvia, who has entered this strange state, can't help but try desperately to talk with Nico Robin, but unfortunately, her voice can't reach her. Suddenly, appeared beside her a man she knew very well, who seemed to be in the same state as her. It looked like the man could see her. When he realized he couldn't communicate with Nico Robin too, he just smiled and pulled out what looked like a manga book. He started drawing something. Alvia observed his actions in amazement. The world below began to change. When Nico Robin was a 2-year-old girl, Nico Alvia left her behind to board the archaeologist's ship. No, that wasn't the reason. But the real reason was to fulfill her husband's wish. The wish which she has misunderstood it. Just to find the poneglyphs. In this reality, her husband gave her enough of them to build a wall as gifts. When Nico Robin was only an 8-year-old, her real struggle began. She suffered from the injustice and tyranny of the head of the world who destroyed her homeland and killed her mother and all the archaeologists who were her only companions mercilessly. Had it not been for the kindness of a certain giant and the blessing of her parents, the little girl would have lost her life in these tragic events as well. Two souls of a father and mother appeared behind the crying Nico Robin when there was no wind to push the boat away from the island, and the two souls pushed her boat away. Equals 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 equals. Robin, I've always wanted to do this. Alvia. Robin, always. Alvia. Robin. Robin, Mom. Clover, it's all my fault. Robin, is it true that you can read poneglyphs? If only I had known this sooner. Robin, I'm sorry. I wanted. Alvia, I'm very surprised that you're able to read them. You studied hard, didn't you? Robin. Alvia, it's not an easy thing to do. I'm so proud of you, Robin. Robin, ooh. Ian. Loudly crying face. Alvia, Saul. Why are you on this island? Saul, some kind of fate. My ship was lost in the sea, and Robin rescued me on the beach. Forget about that. The situation's really serious. You have to get off the island. Alvia, take care of Robin for me. Take my daughter. Take her away from this island. Robin, no. What about you, Mom? Aren't you coming with me? Saul, Alvia. You? Alvia, I still have things to do here. Robin, Mom. I don't want us to be separated. We've finally met. I'm staying here, too. Equals 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 equals. Alvia came out of this illusory world, and the last voice in her mind was Robin's voice calling her Mom. On the side, Professor Clover was reading this and crying, too. At one point, even the old man couldn't hold back his tears, because what he had read affected him deeply. He couldn't remember the last time he cried like that. Like a kid. Alvia sighed sadly and left the Tree of Omniscience. She wanted to go find her daughter, little Robin. Chapter 307, The First Slap on the World Government's Face. Clover, in the past, why would people use text on mineral ore? Perhaps they wished to convey something to the future. If they etched history onto broken-up stones and spread them throughout the world, they probably couldn't leave behind paper or books. Because they may have thought that their message would get destroyed, correct? In other words, there is clear evidence the people that left behind the stones had an enemy. Gora Ci. What is it you wish to say, Professor Clover? Clover, if we assumed that these people were destroyed by their enemy, then their enemy would continue to live on in history. This may seem unexpected, but 800 years ago, right after the 100 years of blank pages, the world government was born. Gora Ci. Clover, if the destroyed people's enemy had become the world government. Archaeologists. Clover, then I believe that the 100 years of blank pages were erased by the world government's hands as inconvenient history. When we read the texts about the distant past on the poneglyphs, we learned of the existence of a single country. One where there is now no trace of it. But what we determined from the texts, it was a great civilization. At one point, they seemed to boast of having great power, but at this point, any information about this country has been thoroughly erased. Spandine. Clover. Most likely, they may have come to understand that they would be defeated by the alliance of nations that would later be named the world government, and so they entrusted that knowledge to the future by carving the whole truth into stones, stones which we now call poneglyphs. Gora Ci. I see. That's an audacious hypothesis. Clover. However, the name of that country was Gora Ci. Eliminate him. Equals 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 equals. Unforgivable. No. 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 What the hell? This. Disastrous. F***CKU, Sky Sword. Go to hell. How did things get to this point? Why did we allow this to evolve into this dilemma? Now, everything that we have struggled for years to erase from the pages of history has come back to bite us through the manga doors. Unbelievable. How he's using future events to hurt us so badly. The face of the five elders turned red from anger. They didn't count the number of times they had nearly exploded in a fit of rage. But this time what they saw in the manga went beyond all limits. Clover almost revealed the name of the Old Kingdom. He even said frankly that the world government was the enemy of the Old Kingdom and gave important information about the poneglyphs and the reason for their existence. This is what they have twisted in many ways in their manga Heir of the World. But One Piece manga, which has a huge fan base estimated at billions, said all that this time. And of course, anything said by One Piece will be believed as truth without a doubt. The hell! Even their subordinates, government agents and marine, and celestial dragons also believe in the One Piece manga. The five elders looked at each other in confusion. Sweat was dripping from their foreheads like a waterfall. They didn't know how to act anymore. It all happened so abruptly. A few minutes ago they were inwardly mocking Rob's way of trying to harm their reputation by making a bunch of rookie pirates, Straw Hats. Makes a mess in Eni's lobby. After all, they expected something more serious. But, if they were just making a little mess and trying to get one of their crew back, that really couldn't shake the feelings of the five elders. But since the flashback of O'Hara started, everything started to turn south. Even they. The reason for everything, they felt pity for Robin's backstory, not to mention the angry crowd outside. Not only did Rob kidnap a vice admiral from headquarters, but he also slapped them a painful slap in the manga. Foo. I really didn't expect this malicious move from you, Rob-chan. It really surprised me. Imu's beautiful eyes widened in shock as she read this scene where Clover uttered a lot of taboo information. What made matters worse was the order of the Gorosei to kill him. This move from Gorosei confirmed to the readers everything Clover had said. When the volume was first released, Imu used her foresight ability to find out everything about the volume, thus alerting the five elders about the coming storm. But after that, she has erased all her memories about it so she could enjoy reading the volume like a normal reader. N/B, this ability is the otaku dream. Do you know, face with tears of joy? That's why she showed this reaction. In a weird sight, the third eye on her forehead turned into a bloodshot eye while her normal eyes were still showing a cheerful expression. She looked like a woman who was angry and having fun at the same time. Foo. Isn't this act from you deserving of a small punishment, Rob-chan? When the Navy ships began bombarding O'Hara Island, readers around the world felt chills running through their bodies. Everyone who has reached this point in the manga has felt the true horror of the world government. Even the world's greatest scholars, the paradise of scholars, O'Hara, is not spared the cannons of destruction. Most readers didn't know what the Buster Call was before. But, at this point, they knew why Robin was terrified when she heard about Buster Call. 10 large warships equipped with the latest and most powerful cannons continue to bombard the island incessantly until there is nothing left but rubble and ashes. And each ship has a vice admiral on board. If this is not despairing, then what is true despair? Surviving such a situation is a miracle. Where did Nico Robin get the miracle to survive? Even the refuse ship containing the ordinary O'Hara residents was destroyed by Sakazuki in cold blood. Far from the coast of Drum Island. O'Hara's scholars deserve their reputation. Professor Clover is a great person, Roger said with a sad expression as he read this scene. Bolding to face death and stay firm on his position. This old man deserves respect. Rayleigh added with a sigh. Everything he said is true. I can't believe that there are people who just use their brains and wits who can almost deduce the whole truth. He even knows the name of the ancient kingdom. If they hadn't shot him, he might have told it. Roger felt pity for the great archaeologist. Even if he knew that this only happened in the manga. Since your country is responsible for making and engraving the poneglyph. What do you think of this, Odin? Odin looked at Roger and couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Since you're the pirate king, you know that the ancient kingdom's enemy is much more than just the world government. But well, most of what Clover said is already true. Chapter 308, Live Broadcast? The New World. On Moby Dick. It looks like the world government has fallen into a deep trap with no way out this time, Gorarara. While flipping the pages of the volume, Whitebeard couldn't help but laugh. After a lot of negative emotional upheavals in this backstory, Whitebeard laughed in order to let out a few of his frustrations. Because in fact, like his sons who were crying like babies, this sad backstory affected him so deeply. Damn the world government. Woo Robin Yui, please don't cry. Marco was crying so badly. As he's never cried before. But because of this backstory, he really cried. Great. This giant, Saul, has appeared again. Come on, take both mother and daughter away from this island. Even Jozu was looking at the manga book in his hands with reddened eyes. Oh. No. Looks like Alvia doesn't want to leave. That's really bad. The same goes for Vista and others. The Navy is bombarding the island harder than before. They're worse than the pirates at this point. Even Aizu couldn't be silent at this point. He didn't expect to see the Marines who were supposed to protect people destroy their homes and take their lives. And for what? Because of their historical research. Whitebeard shook his head with a sigh as he saw the sight of his depressed sons. If his strong sons were in this state because of this flashback, what about the ordinary people who read this? Whitebeard could already imagine it, so he thought the world government would be in a tough spot from now on. Ohara equals 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 equals. Alvia, Robin, if you are a scholar of Ohara, you should know it well. Robin. Clover. Alvia, history is an asset to humanity. I'm sure it will shed some light on the future that you'll be living. But you have to pass on the history that you've inherited from the past, otherwise, it'll disappear. Archaeologists, put out the fire. Protect the books. Alvia, it's not that Ohara wanted to reveal the history. We just wanted to hear the voices from the past and protect them. Our research will end here. But even if Ohara perishes. Robin, loudly crying face. Alvia, we shouldn't give up on the future that you'll be living in. Robin, I done get it. I don't get it. Alvia, you'll understand it one day. Now, please go. Saul. Saul. You're sure? Robin, no, I'll stay here. Mom. Moom. Alvia, I'm happy that you called me that. Thank you. From now on, live your life to the fullest for me, Robin. Equals 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 equals. This was the last scene Alvia read from the manga before she feels a strong urge to hug her daughter. She left the Tree of Omniscience and walked straight toward the art store. People looked at her with complex gazes, dejected, respected, admiration, reverence. All kinds of looks fell on her, but she didn't care. She didn't raise her eyes from the art store. Alvia entered the art store and headed straight for the private section. When Glora, Bella, Toki, Sora, Otoheim, and Matriarch saw her in this deteriorating emotional state, their hearts turned cold even more and they felt very sad. All of them, without exception, had red eyes. Alvia entered the games room, where little Robin, little Hancock, and the rest were having a good time. Mommy? Little Robin gently tilted her head to the side and saw her mom enter the vast room. Soon, a big smile appeared on her cute face. She left the console in her hand aside and ran to get a warm hug. When she actually hugged her, all of Alvia's pains and sorrows were gone. Mom is here. For you, little Robin. Forever. Oh my God, is this person? Isn't that giant? Look. He's even wearing a navy outfit. The giant Saul. The famous triple hunters accompany him. Ha ha ha. Welcome to Ohara, you're a great giant. You were great at today's volume. Can you give me an autograph? Thank you for sympathizing with Alvia-san and saving little Robin. The way you laugh is so amazing, Saul-san. Saul was very surprised when he appeared in a place full of gentle people. Wasn't he a moment ago on a ship in the middle of the sea? Until now, his mind couldn't comprehend everything that had happened. 1 hour ago, he was inside his house enjoying reading manga. At first, he didn't think he would get the honor of appearing in the manga, but before he finished reading the manga, he was arrested by government agents who later turned out to be disguised hunters. And now, they brought him to Ohara. How did this happen? He does not know. It all happened in a very short period. That's why he's still very shocked. And the people of Ohara deepened his confusion. He was not used to being liked by so many people. Saul-san. Until the teacher returns, enjoy your time at Ohara. Without turning around, Doflamingo uttered those words and left, but before disappearing from view he, Rosinante, and Enel were picked up by a furious mother. After greeting the people who greeted him, Saul found a good place to sit and took out the manga volume he hadn't finished yet. He's not yet used to natural human size, but the air in this place is much better than it is in Marineford, so he quickly plunged into the manga's events again. But when he arrives at the events where he saves Alvia from Marineford's prison, something amazing happens. Inside and outside the art store, the store screen appeared, announcing the start of the live broadcast. Hello, Seas World's people, this is Sky Sword, Rob. Greets you all from Eni's lobby. Marine Ford. On the fake government ship that the Navy recovered. This, Sengoku's finger trembled as he pointed at the huge screen in the air. What is happening here? Even Garp was shocked by the scene. This is Sky Sword. What is he planning to do? Zephyr felt intense anxiety build up in his heart. Is this a live broadcast? Looks like things are going to get annoying from this point on. Borsellino's unfazed expression changed to a serious one for the first time. Hello, Seas World's people, this is Sky Sword, Rob. Greets you all from Eni's lobby. Rob's voice sounded devoid of any kind of emotion. Aurora Island. Over the roof of the Skull Castle. Warororo. What is this bastard planning to do? The moment the store screen appeared, Kaido and his subordinates were instantly drawn to what was being broadcast. The small Aurora Island wasn't too far from Hunter's Island, it could even tell they were part of an archipelago, so people in Kaido's territory could see the store screen above Ring Hell Island quite clearly, they could even hear the sound if they focused well. This is getting more and more interesting, I always thought this screen was for anime only, King added. What is that green light on his hand? Is it green lightning? Queen immediately noticed Rob's unusual position in the live broadcast. On the other side of the island, little Yamato was hugging the One Piece book in her arms. Yamato's eyes widened as she saw the tall man in the live broadcast. Chapter 309, A Massive Declaration of War. The second slap on the government's face. Marigoa, Pangaea Castle. The 5 elders fell into heavy moments of silence, only now did they begin to realize what kind of storm Lord Emu had warned them about in the beginning. After Alvia stayed behind, Saul ran with Robin in his hands, trying to get her off the bombed island at any cost. Whether they like it or not, in this arc they are clearly on the evil side, government and navy. The public reaction will be much stronger than in the previous arc, Water 7. Only now did the 5 elders learn why the giant Saul had defected from the navy. That was because he did not accept Buster Call's decision against Ohara from the highest. And who are the highest? They are Gorosei. Sengoku appeared, too. Although he was only an admiral in the manga and was responsible for such a big decision. Even Kong, the supposed fleet admiral, did not appear. Seeing Saul carrying a huge warship and smashing it onto another warship made the 5 elders feel very angry at this ungrateful bastard who had forgotten what the navy had given him throughout his service. When Kuzan froze him to death they were overjoyed. But before that, when Sakazuki in his first appearance destroys a ship full of innocent civilians to bury everyone who tries to escape from the scholars with Ohara's ordinary people, that made the five elders feel complicated feelings. They're happy with Sakazuki, who showed his great devotion to the world government in the manga, but they're sorry for that decision too because it will simply make matters much worse. On the bright side, it's Kuzan who let Robin leave. Sigh, this arc must be a big problem. If we had known about this, we would have tried to prevent it from updating further. Before the bald Gorosei could finish his words, a live broadcast screen appeared above Marigoa, which began the event which will disturb the world government that has ruled the world for 8 centuries. Ohara, Tree of Omniscience. Professor Clover stood alone within the Tree of Omniscience. Seeing archaeologists in the manga trying so hard to protect books from burning for the future made Clover deeply affected. He didn't expect, even in his wildest nightmares, that a day like this would come in the manga. Although he was prepared for anything from the world government, he did not expect this devastating reaction. Where they left no room to escape. Dead end. Sigh, that Navy bastard, he destroys the ship that the civilians are aboard as well. Clover sighed when he arrived at the event's point of Sakazuki destroying the evacuation ship, although he didn't feel very sad about their fate, probably because most of them refused to board Robin and treated her like a monster. After that, he continued flipping the manga pages in low spirits after Alvia left to find her daughter. The next scenes made him love the giant Saul as much as anyone else who had read these scenes and weep sadly over Robin's fate. Equals 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 equals. Robin, Saul. Saul, Kaff. Ha! Robin. Run. Run with all your might. Ha! If you stay on this island, you ain't gonna survive. Just use my raft and sail out. Ha! Robin, what about you, Saul? Saul, this is as far as I'm gonna get. I'm caught. Go! Robin, no. Nobody's on the sea anymore. Saul, HIA. Listen up, Robin. HAA. Even though you're alone now. Someday, surely. You're gonna meet your nakama. Robin. Nakama? Saul, the sea is vast. Someday, surely. Your nakama will appear to protect you. Once you're born into this world, you never be alone. Run. Robin. Don't look back. Remember what I taught you. When you meet hardship, smile like this. Robin, Saul, watch out. Kuzan, Ice Age. Saul, Dereshishishishi. Robin, Saul. Saul, Dereshishi. Somewhere out there, in the sea, you will surely meet your nakama, Robin. Robin, WAAAAAAH. Saul, live. With them. Kuzan. Archaeologist, it's no use. It's falling. The Tree of Omniscience is falling. Clover, this is another history that humanity has chosen. How shallow humans are. Alvia, I'm sorry. Robin. I couldn't even leave you any words as your mother. Equals 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 equals. The manga fell out of Clover's hands as he couldn't stand what he read anymore. The amount of sadness in these scenes was very terrible. Especially for the Ohara people and the scholars. Clover felt a terrible pain in his heart, the kind of pain Alvia had felt before. After all, she had seen all of these events before him. Now, he could understand that. What kind of tough heart does Rob have for drawing such a backstory that can make the rocks cry? Dr. Clover approached the bookshelves of the great library and began to touch them gently, with tears on his face. How shallow humans are. Fortunately, this part of history will only be recorded in the pages of the manga book. When he finished this line, a bright light appeared from the windows of the great library, which caught Clover's attention. Eni's lobby. The voice that followed made his body harden. That was because the owner of that voice was very familiar. Hello, Seas World's people. This is Sky Sword. Greets you all from Eni's lobby. Clover came out of the great library to be surprised by an astonishing sight. A transparent screen the size of an island hanging in the sky, much larger than the normal size when showing an anime series. On the screen appeared the face of the most mysterious man in history for Clover. Get out of fantasy for a while, and come back to reality, which is more important. Hearing that, Clover and the red-eyed Ohara residents momentarily speechless. For my precious ones, I'm sorry. For my precious ones, I'm sorry. Inside the games room, a small screen appeared showing the live broadcast that Rob was speaking. Alvia, who was still hugging little Robin, stood frozen in shock. Mommy. Why is Daddy apologizing? That guy. Saul was shocked by this scene. Matriarch, who was pulling the ears of the trio hunters, stopped as her boss face appeared in the live broadcast. After all, this scene happened for the first time. The same for Glora, Bella, Otoheim, Sora, Toki, and the rest of the store goddesses. They all stared dumbfoundedly at the man on the screen. As for my enemies, I have come to declare war. Dragon and Aisho, Crocodile, and Mihawk stood in shock as they heard what this crazy man had just said. Rob pointed his finger at the world government's flag that was proudly fluttering in the sky of Eni's lobby. Everyone who was watching this intensely swallowed their saliva. The next moment, a green Zero sprinted in a straight line and tore the symbol on the flag before turning it to ashes. The ashes of the world government flag scattered across the sky of Eni's lobby. Chapter 310, the end of the saddest backstory in One Piece. Marineford. Before the store screen appeared above Marineford, Kuzan, who was disturbed by the kidnapping of his friend Saul, was reading the manga. Previously, he almost froze the sea and caught up with the fake government ship, but when he saw how he froze his only friend to death in the manga, he instinctively stopped what he was going to do. It must be said that this scene affected him deeply. He never thought that there would come a day when he would kill his best friend with his own hands. This is terrible. In the latter, Kuzan was a man with moderate justice. Unlike Sakazuki, who was like a mad dog, he had a kind of conscience that leaned toward the side of benevolence, like his mentor Zephyr and Garp. Seeing what happened in Ohara made him re-evaluate the justice the government was talking about. Perhaps when he decided to normalize with the government, he was somewhat hasty on his part. Had he not seen himself in the manga giving Robin a chance to survive from Ohara massacre, he would have doubted his own values and his existence. Equals 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 equals. Kuzan. Absolute justice. Sometimes drives a man insane. I've decided to let you escape from this island. A seed that Saul protected. I wonder what it'll become. Robin. Kuzan, it's none of my business against whom you'll bear a grudge, but be glad that you have your life now. In the future, try to live a life as ordinary as possible. I've prepared a path of ice on the sea. If you travel straight with this boat, you'll reach land. And remember this, I'm not your friend. If you do anything, I'm the enemy who'll be the first to catch you. Robin, my mom is still on the island. Loudly crying face. Kuzan, no one could survive. Robin. Kuzan, if you wish to die of bitterness, well, that's up to you, as well. Equals 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 equals. Kuzan removed his sunglasses to reveal wet eyes, not even realizing that he was crying. After that, the tears froze and turned to ice tears and they fell to the ground, his expression quickly returning to the coldness it used to be. Kuzan didn't think he'd cry again when he got strong. He always thought crying was only for kids. Only when you are a kid, you can cry. But today, the manga has broken that fact into his heart and turned it into nonsense. This little girl. She suffered a lot. Vice Admiral, sir. The Fleet Admiral has summoned you to come back quickly. What happened? Did they track the ship that took Vice Admiral Saul away? Kuzan asks the soldier. Yes, sir, they have recovered the ship, but it was empty. Back to the present. Everyone in Marineford without exception was in deep shock. Impossible. He burned the flag. Oh my God. Is he crazy? It is. It's the symbol of the world government. The Marines' eyeballs nearly fell out of their sockets due to the shock of the sight they had just seen. On the store screen, Rob regained his pistol-shaped hand, and he makes a smoke-puffing move from the nozzle. No doubt, what I have just done has truly shocked you, government men and Navy forces, but believe me, this is just the beginning. On the other hand of the store screen, in Eni's lobby, the soldiers who saw the government flag turn to ashes were so shocked, given that they didn't even know Rob was here until he decided to destroy the flag. After all, Ciro was so clear to the point that everyone on the island could see it. Sirens sounded everywhere inside the Eni's lobby and Navy soldiers and government agents ran at full speed to attack Rob. Rob found this annoying, so without compliment, his eyes flashed with a sharp glint and a stifling pressure spread from him as a center. Wave after wave of shining Conqueror hockey swept everywhere in Eni's lobby like tsunami waves. Everything in the Eni's lobby stopped moving completely, and then a second later, human bodies started falling to the ground like dominoes. When the waves of Conqueror hockey passed over the giants Oimo and Kashiai, they did not faint but instead, the Conqueror hockey blew up the bomb hoops on their necks without allowing them to explode. This amazing show of strength has been watched by billions of people across the world. Dory and Broggy celebrated when seeing their friends unharmed with raucous laughter, while Whitebird's crew and Roger's crew are surprised by the overwhelming power of Rob's hockey. Same for Shiki, Kaido, and Linlin. For the latter, her old habits started to wake up when she saw the man she liked flexing his muscles in a live broadcast. Mama hee hee hee, this is my ally, looks like the days of world government are numbered already. In the new Onigashima. When Kaido saw a shot of the powerful Conqueror hockey that spread like a tsunami and swept everything in Eni's lobby, he felt an itch in his back. Precisely because of this hockey he got a huge injury in his back that day when he stupidly challenged Rob. Get ready for what's to come, guys. Because what's to come is bound to be a massive storm that will sweep through the pirate world. If we're not strong enough, we may also be swept away in this storm. Even Kaido was certain at this point that this declaration of war wasn't a joke or something that happened due to an emotional moment. Rather, it is a deliberate and planned event, only today is the right moment for it. In Moby Dick. Mad monster. This guy is a mad monster. The expression on Teach's face was ugly as he watched the live broadcast. At first, he was planning to get revenge on Rob in the future when he carried out his plan because Rob made his life very difficult because of the manga he was drawing. But that thought was now gone from his mind because this man was not something to look at, let alone think about getting revenge on him. Garararara. This exciting age has gotten even more exciting since this guy appeared. My sons, hold on well, we have already entered a swamp of loose sand. Paradise, Alabasta Sea, on Oro Jackson. Honey, you should see this, Rob has dash. Ha? Are you crying? Inside their room, Rouge was reading the manga book and crying silently when Roger suddenly entered. Sigh. Roger sighed and hugged her, even without words. He already knew the reason for her tears. Robin's backstory was so heartbreaking that it could draw blood and tears even from tough men, not to mention kind-hearted women like his wife. You should see this. Rouge referred to the manga page where Robin left Ohara, the scene in which Robin Alvia's souls appear behind Robin's back. Thanks so much for listening. As always, new parts drop every 4 days, so be sure to stay tuned. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and please consider supporting the original author as well. See you in the next one.